in comedy, like off stage, on stage, like things happening in my career that's so ridiculous, but you're like, but that's happened already. So when you get on stage, there's something about having that thing of like, oh, I'm probably not going to be in a fist fight today. Like, even if this crowd's a little rough, I'm probably not going to be in a major fist fight again.
Unless you go to Soul Joel's again.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah,
that guy can't go on more things and retell the story over and over again. You know what he said? I was like, oh, you sure are out there making the rounds with press, showing that video and stuff. And he's like, yeah, he goes, kind of, it worked out good for me, it worked out a little good for you, And I'm like, 45 years old and got yanked off of an 18
thrown off a stage.
Yeah. I'm like, no, it wasn't great. I'm not going to look back on that and say great.
Welcome back to Comedy Pinata from New York City. Here with Mike Albanese, and I would say Big Mike.
Well, we could have.
We could have with Big Jay Oakerson, coming straight from the bonfire. Thank you so much, buddy. Appreciate it.
Oh, thank you for having me, Ben.
How are things? You're gearing up for. Well, you guys were talking about Skankfest, but so many comics when I'm on the road. That is a festival that has been brought up from like. Every time you have like a feature act, you have no idea who it is, or like the MC. It's like man, I saw these clips from Skankfest. Like comics love Skankfest.
Oh yeah, well it's the best comic like experience for comics, and I think the fans, what it is like a very immersive experience.
Sure.
But I noticed that, like I said, just watching how bad like I was at the end of the AVN Awards.
Right.
It sounds like a real bummer.
And yeah, well, it was weird for sure, but it was definitely fun. But
that's one awards where nobody thanks their father.
Not one person.
No,
don't make that joke on stage. They don't want to hear it. I've been warned. That's the two I've been warned the most about, because I was like, I think I should host the AVN Awards, and they're like, they don't laugh at anything you say about them.
Oh shit, really?
They didn't take themselves seriously. They said,
right.
But I thought it was like, it's possible. I think I watched Matt Rife do it. He did fine.
Yeah, he seems to be doing okay.
Yeah, he just handsomed his way through it, and all the girls wanted to fuck him. He did great.
Yeah.
Pretty much what you need to do at the AVNs. But I mean, what I thought was interesting about it was like for the people that were invited there, like we were there as nominees for the podcast.
Oh, great.
And I was like, the experience for the people like they invited there was bad.
Yeah,
like a lot of weird lines you had to wait and all this kind of stuff. And I thought that was, I'm like, you should make it like a big thing Lewis does, because he's a comic obviously too, is wants to make it like very friendly to the comics themselves.
Sure.
So you don't have to worry about nothing. Like,
that's
your
nice.
room, here's your thing. We're trying to get it this year, the first time where they like, when you show up, like someone's just handing you your room keys. You don't have to go through the whole line and everything. Just like all the smallest little details to like.
See, that's what bankrupted my festival every year.
Being good to the comics?
Well, just being good to the comics. Being like, oh, we don't make you have to wear anything. And then meanwhile, I'm like panicking as my credit card explodes into the air.
Yeah. No, you're not wrong. It is expensive.
But Vegas was the last one, right? Because it was Austin before that, and then Vegas. So is Vegas
Houston,
the new?
It was Houston for a year, and then it was always New York is where it's kind of based out of.
Sure.
And then we just started taking it on the road. They did the one in Houston, was great.
Yeah.
And then we did Vegas, and Vegas, man, what a shit scuzz town of just awful. But it was so perfect for Skankfest. That's the only way to describe it. Like, and when I was there, I loved every minute of it, because I'm like, oh, this is what it makes sense for. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Right there on Fremont, like
some just all comes together for you, and you're like, this all makes sense. I remember I used to shit all over comedy classes.
Right.
And I'm like, what are they even for? It's the dumbest thing to try to teach or do. It's done. And then my daughter was 14, and she went, I'd like to try comedy. And I went, comedy class. That's what that's for. A child who says, I'd like to try comedy.
Yeah.
You know who else really does it a lot? Are people that like in your job, your boss might go, you need to like open up a little bit.
Yeah.
Send you to a comedy class or an improv class, and they do it, and then it's like those are the people that are doing
That's why I would hate doing it the most. They asked me years ago, Wayne, remember Wayne Rada?
Yeah.
Wayne would ask me, he goes, would you teach a comedy class? And I go, the only way I would teach it is I'd want to help like the way I was helped by like older comics, like give some advice and like direction.
Sure.
I go, but I really have no interest in being like, hey, I'm trying to get better talking to women. I'm like, I don't know what to fucking tell you. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, You want to jump in there and give weird, like, goes, well, make it personal about yourself.
Yeah.
Have you done some self-deprecation on this date?
I want to talk about the 5 key ingredients to a successful comedy career, guys. It's like, brrr, ding.
I've seen the comedy
ding.
class, and have you ever sat in one or like walked in on one?
Fuck no.
They legitimately, and look, it is what it is, but they're legitimately one of the first things they tell you is remove the mic, move the stand. And if you, I've seen.
It's called the Louis Anderson, I believe, correct? Let me get this out of the way so you can see.
You guys gonna pull a Louis?
But I've walked in on, like, when I was living in Atlanta, I would do, like, they'd have someone headline the show or whatever, like the class graduation, every one of them methodically. Like, stand.
Oh, yeah.
Sure.
How's everyone doing? I know you're looking at me and you're thinking, what a fat loser. Like, that's everyone's first joke, first line.
When my daughter took it, I remember the second class she took, I was like, how you enjoying it? She goes, it's fun, but, like, I feel like they're taking the stuff that I'm writing that I think is funny and they're making it not funny. I go, oh, I should have told you this before you took the class. Don't listen to anything they say as far as comedy. They're teaching a comedy class in Long Island. You should just do what they tell you to do as like assignments wise. Like if they're telling you to write this week about this, do all that stuff. I go, don't. They're failures. These guys are failures.
This is what it's like to work with executives.
Oh yeah.
This is your first lesson to work with executives. They're going to take everything that's funny and make it not funny.
Oh yeah. Oh, you must have had that with like Sullivan's Sons. Like it has
everything.
Yeah. I'm saying something like that.
Everything.
But something like that. Like I'm saying like a TBS thing like that. Like the housing company, they have to be up your ass.
Yeah. When you have Rob Long who did Cheers and then Vince Vaughn who's
Vince
Vaughn. They tried to do that like for an episode or two, and then they got recalibrated pretty quickly. And Vince kind of protected Rob. Was just like, yeah, we're just gonna do our own thing, guys, and not like a dick way, but like. I think we know what we're doing here.
Yeah, we're fine.
Yeah.
We're good. Don't worry about it.
So that was good. But you'd still get the notes after the table reads.
Ugh. I'd love to see like a real comic teach a comedy class. I would love to see what if you had an actual legitimate comedian come in and be like a guest lecturer at a comedy class.
It'd be like Michael
Step
Jordan.
one, quit the class. Stop.
Stop this
It'd be like
shit.
Michael Jordan. Like, why can't you guys just dunk from the free throw line? Like, can't you guys just do like? I think as a comic,
I know you're doing a lot of layups, but you dunk it. He's like, no, I can't dunk it. He goes, you can though.
If you had to write into a comedy class, what would be your one thing you would tell them? If you had one instruction to give, what would you give?
On stage. That's what I tell every young comic when they ask me. They go, what do you do? I go, you just can't take backstage time. I go, for everything as like, I mean, I've been in a stupid amount of physical altercations in comedy, like off stage, on stage, like things happening in my career that's so ridiculous, but you're like, but that's happened already. So when you get on stage or something about having that thing of like, oh, I'm probably not going to be in a fist fight today. Like, even if this crowd's a little rough, I'm probably not going to be in a major fist fight again.
Unless you go to Soul Joel's again. That's when you have to actually think about it.
Last place, Soul Joel.
Yeah,
that guy can't go on more things and retell the story over and over again. You know what he said? It's funny, when I came back to that club to do it again, he goes, I was like, oh, you sure are out there making the rounds with press, showing that video and stuff. And he's like, yeah, he goes, kind of, it worked out good for me, it worked out a little good for you, And I'm like, I'm 45 years old and got yanked off of an 18
thrown off a stage.
Yeah. I'm like, no, it wasn't great. I'm not going to look back on that and say great.
Soul Joel, what a guy.
They asked me, Fox 5 in Philly. We're not Fox 5.
The news.
Fox 29 in Philadelphia called me. They go, would you want to come? It was the day after Oscars. The Oscars when Chris
it's a
Rock
win-win, right?
Yeah. Hey, wait. Chris Rock
you.
got slapped on stage. Who do we call? Let's get Big Jay's opinion. He was smashed on a stage.
I swear to you, Fox 29 in Philly calls me. They go, would you do the morning show tomorrow? I go, no. And also I live in New York, so it would be a ridiculous thing anyway. And then the next afternoon, I get a text from my cousin, Vicky, and she goes, hey, look at this. Look, I'm watching on TV and look what they're showing. And then she sends me a video.
They did it anyway.
Fox 29. No, they didn't do it anyway. Soul Joel's in a suit sitting there, and they're talking, and he's playing it. He goes, yeah, it was a pretty crazy time when, and I'm like, damn, this dude can't wait to parade this.
He has his own like studio lights just for press interviews.
Oh,
he still has the napkins in his neck. Oh, sorry. Yes, when the moment happened, he has makeup tissues. Oh, sorry, gang.
Are we in the air? Are we okay?
Buffalo News every Sunday before home game. They're like, well, what does it like to be smashed through a table as a Buffalo Bills fan? Well, it's funny you mentioned that. We had a show at Soul Joel's Outdoor. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, he gets it in whenever he can.
Well, let's get cooking. We got envelope number 1. Again, I don't know who these are.
You know what we're doing, right?
Yeah, we did it. We did it.
Oh, you've done it. Okay, cool.
Here we go. This is Corey Holcomb.
Oh, nice.
Corey Holcomb. I mean, when I was coming up in L.A., he was last comic standing, right? He was one of the first.
He got last comic standing, but what I always found interesting about Corey, especially starting in the black circuit like I did, was that he was he was such a raw guy.
Yeah.
For being on something so like mainstream.
Sure, yeah.
And then, by the way, when you went to go see him live, it wasn't like he started making his set more like friendly for like an
got worse.
You know, that's what happens with all those AGT people who do like well on that. Then they come to see you. Yeah, it's Tracy Morgan effect. You know, they come. They're like, "Oh, Starship Jones is gonna be," and he's like, "You ever fuck your stepdaughter in the booty and then wipe the shit up on the wall so your daddy don't see it?" And then these like little church ladies are like, "Oh, can't believe what's happening."
All right, here we go. Corey Holcomb.
Here we go. Corey Holcomb. Here we go.
Fellas, clap your hands if you here with a girl you're gonna break up with when you get on your feet. She is one job interview away from finding out how you really feel. Hey, ladies, do men cheat more? Men, we cheat more? I think so. We can admit that. But let me tell you something, ladies. This is what y'all doing. It's really scandalous. Y'all always mess around with somebody you really like. It's like you trying to upgrade. I would never do you like that. You know? I can't stand the people I mess around with. I got busted the other day. Walking out this restaurant with this girl, and my girl showed up. It was just like on that show Cheaters, you know. Oh, hey, baby. Looked like I was swallowing peanut butter. My girl ain't making no easier. She was talking about the girl I was with. And you out here with something that looked like that. I was like, you should see the other chicks I mess around with. You'd have followed me yesterday, you'd have been proud of me. I'm sorry you had to see her. Get away, you messing everything up.
All right, here we go, Corey Holcomb. Yeah, he's a guy that I used to see all the time at the Improv in Hollywood. I don't see him much. I see him touring.
Oh, yeah.
But
I think he gets like, there's a lot of voice stuff, I think, now, too. I know he was like...
Yeah,
that voice on Cleveland show for a while was hilarious.
He had a show on Cartoon Network about Black Jesus or something like that.
Right.
I think he was a part of that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think it was the first like mainstream thing he did, which is not to say much because Cartoon Network's not mainstream.
He's so, like, those big personalities like that. Like, always like Patrice always crazy respected Corey, which I thought was interesting. He just likes his, like, kind of, like, not give a shit attitude, which is pretty awesome. But I did Comic View the first time. I was 6 months into comedy. Mm-hmm. Didn't know anything about this.
6 months into comedy, and you're going on Comic View?
BET's Comic View.
Oh,
but because they were being... None of this... It all makes sense to me now, but when you're a brand new comic, I don't even know what they're... I'm still living at my mom's house in Philly.
Yeah.
And they were like, well, yeah, you're going to get a call from Comic View because SAG-AFTRA, or I think it was AFTRA at the time, is boycotting them. Nobody who's in AFTRA can do it because Comic View paid historically. There was no flight, no hotel. You got a hotel deal,
right.
No hotel, and $150 check at the end of it. A check for $150. So everyone's like they couldn't do it. And I don't know what picket lines are. Yeah. I'm like TV. Hell yeah. That's
You're gonna pay me?
I have a big story about when I met Pink right before she got famous on that flight to Comic View.
Really?
Yeah. She don't remember. I always told Dean Edwards that story when she was on SNL, when he was on SNL once. He was like, I told her the whole story. I go, oh yeah? He goes, she didn't remember. I didn't think she would.
How'd the set go? 6 months in, I'm curious.
Fine. I mean, I did all like I was still taking my pants off on stage and doing all kinds of like dumb shit like that.
It worked.
It worked fine. It wasn't the issue.
You got a good tape.
It was just I don't even know where it exists now.
Yeah.
We've tried to find it so much, but Corey was just a personality in there. Like I was just like one of the few white people, and also hands down the most like unknown in the room. Like they all just knew each other from the scene.
Yeah.
Even, and I was just kind of sitting there, and I remember Corey Holcomb just I was laughing, but they kept. It's a very bad production, Comic View, and they just kind of like cattle herd you in the different rooms here and there. And then we went into the one room before the show, and they go, "Okay, we're going to be showing it." I mean, on a 100-foot movie screen.
Oh shit!
In this big room we're waiting in, and they're
in the green room. Ugh.
This crazy huge thing, and just Corey Holcomb. It's not even that funny in hindsight, but just remember like me nervously laughing. He was like, "Yo, how many people are gonna be in here during the show?" Being like, he just stayed for. He goes, "Yo, that guy stole my shit!" Screaming at a 100-foot screen. "Yo, that's my shit!"
When there's a TV in the green room and it's like loud enough to hear, I'm like, I can't do. I'm so angry on stage. Knowing the comics are watching you, just talking shit.
Yeah, I'm like, don't.
No,
watch
I don't want to turn it off.
JFL always pops a nice monitor in the green room. So everyone's up there. He goes, and you got to go up there and goes, "Ooh, they're not liking him, huh?" So I'm next, I guess.
I always throw that baby on mute when I come in.
Yeah.
Let's just mute this. Let's just talk and hang, and hopefully it just stays on mute. But
I
remember I did Comic View and they put like the white guys together, and again I was like a year in, and same thing. I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to take this deal. I'm going out and paying my own way, and the white guy before me. I to this day I haven't seen a bomb that bad in my life. It was devastating to him. He got maybe 2 minutes in, and they were vicious to him, and I was like, oh shit! But I had the Bruce Lee in my pocket, and I came out. I did like 3 jokes in Bruce Lee, and that was my college tape for like fucking years.
Hell, you murdered
for years. Sophie K for just out of the gates NACA conferences and stuff.
That's perfect.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I did not. My tape definitely of that wasn't. The first time I did it, I think I was still rolling one leg of my jeans up.
It's like because you had to bike to the shows.
Nope, just because LL Cool J did it, made it look pretty cool. So now I'm doing it. Now I also wear my pant leg up, and to this day, I do it with sweatpants.
To this day.
When I wear sweatpants,
never
with jeans.
There is something about sweatpants and one leg up. I'll do it from time to time. Like if I don't get the leg all the way down, I'm like, you're staying. It's staying.
But
I got one good feature, and it's my calves.
It looks weird, especially with a pasty white leg just darting out of your jeans.
But you were also wearing like massive jeans, so that like
they're big jeans.
You look like an amputee with that one leg up.
It's almost like a fake leg underneath it. Yeah. Oh, he's a veteran. Thank you for your service, man.
Really it's like you're airing out a wound.
Yeah.
I wish Comic View. The second time I did it was a debacle. The second time I did it was almost kind of like you said. It wasn't. They kept. I think I was the only white guy on my day. And the producer was a white lady, and I ended up having to get like mad at her, but just being like, I pulled her aside, and be like, "Hey, you stop doing this. It's very obvious what you're doing." She just didn't trust. They didn't think the call time. It was Miami. The call time was 9 a.m. 9 a.m. No shows being shot until 5 p.m.
No,
I was supposed to be on at 9 p.m.
They want you there for 12 hours just to hang.
Yep. Well, no, it's because they think with these black comedians, this is their own people saying this about them.
Yeah.
They go, they can't be trusted. Like if we have them come in close to showtime, they will not be there. They will not show up. They don't care about being on TV. It doesn't mean anything. And I'm like, all right, because I kept saying like, hey, now that I checked in and held my shirt up, can I go back like to my place now where I was staying?
Like you could be back at 8:45. It ain't about you.
Yeah.
No, it's what they wanted me there for, and I hated this. I mean, down to, I remember I'd be like, hey, I'm going to go outside and smoke a cigarette to this white producer. Yeah. And she go, you're going to go smoke? So, okay. She goes, everybody, if you're going to smoke, go do it now. Jay's going out to smoke. So, and because she thinks I'll bring everyone home. And then the worst when she goes, Jay, listen, she goes, I have the dinner tickets, the ticket to get your catering. At dinner, she goes, I'm just going to give you, if you just give them to them as they I go, you have to stop making it seem like you're just, like you want this white person to fucking corral these black. She's really, it's like, she'd be like Jane Goodall. She goes, can you teach them how to sign they're hungry? Hey, can you try to, if they start baring teeth, run.
Is that a bit? Have you ever done that as a bit?
No.
That's fucking funny.
But I mean, she just never comes. She goes, can you just hold the drink? They're not to be trusted. I'm like, this is
one
each.
One each. You know what's crazy? Right. It's like no comedy club manager will admit it, but they always admit it. Like, I'll be like, hey, man, good luck next week. Hope it's great shows. He's like, yeah, just brace myself for all the complaints and all the drinks with no ice and all this other stuff. I'm like, oh, are you saying there's going to be an urban act here next week? And it's always that case, you know?
Oh, that's why that's how you get black staff at a comedy club to love you. If you have a tipping, like my audience drinks.
Right.
And they tip because we broadcast and we shit on them if they don't. We tell them how they have to act.
Sure. Yeah.
So do that. And then they're like, but I'd be apologizing because I'm like, hey, sorry, you have to go get your babysitter because there's no seats in the back of the room. So sorry you're putting your clothes back on and going home, wait staff.
Yeah.
And they're like, it's okay. The first show was good.
Sure.
She goes, we had Bruce last week for 7 sold-out shows. I made $100 the whole weekend.
Oh, Jesus
and it's like black waitresses going saying that, and you're like, oh, no. Why? Is that a stereotype?
What happened?
Oh, is that a thing? I never heard that. Wait, no. Bruce's crowd's not tip. Shut up. No, I don't want to hear it.
always. But they can't say it, but they can say it. You know?
Yeah.
They do it in very, you got to read the tea leaves. All right,
there was a manager at, I don't want to name the club, but it was a funny bone who said, same thing. We had a black comic coming next week, and I said, "Oh, that should be fun." Like, yeah, it'll be fun trying to get all those ranch packets in. It was
Jesus
so on the
Christ.
nose, stereotypical that it wasn't even funny. It was like, "Oh, this guy, he meant it." Like, there was no joke
it's
there.
a reality. Yeah.
We're out of ranch. Great.
Someone call Ken's Newman's Own.
Newman's. Oh, yeah. All right, here we go. Number 2, Shane Gillis.
Hell yeah.
Shane Gillis, it's crazy to see the trajectory. Just a few years ago, kicked off SNL.
Unknown.
It's got to be gutting.
SNL.
Can you even say kicked off SNL?
Before he was even
I mean,
on.
he never even got to walk on the set.
That's what I'm saying.
Huge story.
Best thing ever happened to him, though.
100%. Yeah.
You know.
No, you're right. Ultimately, it is because he got to do it his own way, and Gillian Keeves is
blowing up.
so good.
I saw him the next day in my. I live in Astoria. The next day, I was sitting out on a patio having a drink, and I saw him walking by. And it was the day after it happened. I was like, and he looked like pure death. I was like, that is a man whose soul has been ripped out from him. And to see it go from that to what he's doing now is
I knew
amazing.
it was coming. Like he told me that like this shit was. I knew he was getting the job. I mean, and I'm close with Shane, and he was like, yeah. I go, oh, it's so cool. And he's like, they're announcing it like Friday or whatever. And I was in Chicago. I never forget this because that morning it was the announcement. I saw the announcement come out. I'm like, oh, it's official, and I was texting with him. And then that night he was like, oh, there's a thing. And it was when the stuff started coming in. That guy started writing all this shit.
You're going to announce Friday. We're going to have a big party Sunday.
I'm not sure. So what it was Sunday. So he knew it was like dicey. And he's like, but hopefully it'll work out. And then that Sunday he came over to my house to watch. It was an Eagles-Cowboys game. And like I think at halftime we went outside, smoked a cigarette, and his manager called. And he looked back. I mean, he was like,
No.
Like, yeah, it's a wrap. So I was there when it actually happened. Everybody called him. But I mean, he's so hyper talented and just like it's amazing what he's doing. He's sold out across the country and
everywhere. And now the sketches that he does, more comics talk about this than SNL.
Well, yeah. I mean, they're also just ballsier, and it's.
Yeah.
I think it's got no limits. Great.
Way funny. All right, let's watch Shane Gillis.
We're all adults. We can. We all agree the Special Olympics is a good program.
Great bit.
It's great. I just feel like the guy who came up with it had to be like a real risk taker. You know what I mean? That's a wild thing to suggest for the first time. Some guy in a board meeting, like, I got an idea. We should be racing these motherfuckers. I was like, what'd you say? Fucking town over said they're the fastest ones. So we settle it, I'm not making fun of the Olympians. The concept is wild. It's a wild, like if your best friend invented the Special Olympics and told you about it first, you'd be like, don't ever tell anybody. Who the fuck were you gonna tell that to? What are you doing? Pole vault? I actually volunteered and coached with the Special Olympics for a little while, so, what'd you guys do? No, don't clap. Please. I did it for those kids. No, I'm kidding. No. I look like this, so. Me coaching the Special Olympics, I was like a fucking double agent. No one knew whose side I was on, dude. Player, chaperone, no one knew. I'd be standing there coaching, holding a clipboard with 5 dudes that looked exactly like me. I go see the coaches from the other team looking over like, I think they're fucking letting one of them coach.
All right, Shane Gillis. I mean, that's
so good.
That bit's so funny.
Yeah, dude, he's so great. Another Philly boy.
And he's and not just domestic, like international. I think if he was on SNL, he wouldn't be as popular as he is now.
No.
That would have been a hindrance to his talent.
That's why I think like Tim Robbins is the same way because he was on SNL for like a season or two. Exactly. He was on. They kicked him off, and now he's got such a bigger career. What did I say? Robinson. Now he's got like
I know
5 seasons on Netflix. Like
Jenny
it's crazy.
Slate, same thing.
You have to have
one
some
season.
real. Yeah, you have to have some real like long-term, like long-distance vision to see some of that stuff. I know in the moment it just feels crushing, but I mean, like, yeah, it all did really work out more. Yeah, on SNL he'd be handcuffed.
Yeah,
by a couple things. I mean, here's the. I mean, it could make him really famous and could have got him in stuff, but now he really gets to do it his way with the same kind of like level bump that actually being on the show would have done without him.
I think
he
more
became like infamous for it, and then when everybody watched again, like most of these things, you get those negative eyes on you. We always, I think all comics do, we forget that like with all that negativity, there's someone who equally, in equilibrium, someone equally like fucking thinks it's great.
I think it was a perfect moment of like the pendulum starting to swing the other direction where they're like, wait a minute, what? Oh, fuck that. I like this guy. Like where you could like be a fan of somebody that does that,
my favorite, when they first started getting hate, my first hate mail was ever on Travelocity.com, which I remember was pretty hilarious, in a review of the Boston Comedy Club. But I always remembered it and loved it because I go, at least this lady went through the effort of writing out verbatim. She actually didn't like do what a lot of people do and like misquote you and say terrible things.
She nailed you.
She wrote this joke down, word for word. And I liked that because I was like, oh, that doesn't make me mad. They go, really? It's like, she's so angry at you. I go, I know, but she wrote it out. It reads funny still. So someone, she's have nonstop talking about this, I bet, since it happened. And someone in her life has gone like, come on, Carol, that's funny. Like, you know what I mean? Like, who is this guy? I go, you probably get a few fans just picked up by someone going like, why are you so upset about it? It was not that big. And then you start, I think it's what a lot of people did. They were like, who is this monster Shane Gillis? And you're like, oh, he's just funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's why I said I was going to do the podcast of the people who hate us because I'm like, whenever they ask me why do I want to do that, I go, because I want to make your audience laugh. And then your whole argument's stupid.
You know what's funny, too, is like when something like this happens with Shane, when something like the D'Elia stuff first broke, I learned a lesson as a comedian. When you put yourself kind of out there to defend somebody, there are repercussions, obviously, with that. But,
for defending? Oh, yeah.
When it happened with Shane, like I was like, he's a comic. It was on a podcast. He wasn't being recorded. He's making light. You guys are crazy for thinking, like, for taking him to the hill for this and let him lose his job. He's a young guy and all this stuff. And then you lose followers from that. You lose credibility, like, as an Asian American entertainer. Like, a lot of Asian entertainers gave me shit and stuff. And I think that
Bowen Yang, that was like a tough thing, too. Bowen Yang got the gig also with Shane. And then that the narrative sort of became like, they go, oh, and then they had to hire Bowen Yang to like make up for it. I go, Bowen Yang was hired.
He was already on the show.
He was already on it, yeah.
Well, he was writing on it, and then I think got promoted up to being on it. But that wasn't a Shane reaction. That was like a thing. So
they treated it a lot like he was like firebombing Chinese restaurants. Like that's the reaction to what
like he's sucker punching Asian grandmas in Chicago and San Francisco.
Very
punchable group of people, though. Let's be real. They don't care about your space, and they're very loud.
They've had it too good for too
long. Okay, here we go. Number 3, that was Shane Gillis. And number Trace is Chris Rock.
You're going to have to ignore the quality.
Okay. You know, I was just in my hotel a little while ago on my way here. And
it's blurry and black.
I got in the elevator, right? I'm getting in the elevator, and these 2 high school white boys tried to get on with me. And I just dove off. I said, y'all ain't killing me. I am scared of young white boys. If you white and under 21, I am running for the hills. What the hell is wrong with these white kids shooting up the school? They don't even wait till 3 o'clock either. Killing people in the morning, that ain't right. It's that trench coat mafia. No one would play with us. We had no friends in the trench coat mafia. Hey, I saw the yearbook picture. It was 6 of them. I ain't have 6 friends in high school. I don't got 6 friends now. Shit, that's 3-on-3 with a half court. What the hell is wrong with these kids? I got people telling me, come on, Chris, come up to a school, talk to the kids. I'm like, fuck the kids. Do you got a vest? Maybe I'll think about it. And everybody want to know what the kids was listening to. And what kind of music was they listening to? Or what kind of movies was they watching? Who gives a fuck what they was watching? Whatever happened to crazy?
Sometimes I forget how different his cadence was.
Oh yeah, you see
like how
that
it evolved
compared to you know present day Chris Rock.
Well, yeah, this was, I mean, like from all accounts,
out of the gates.
Well, from all accounts, I mean, Bring the Pain.
Yeah.
Which is before this one, right?
I think this is Bigger Blacker. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the Bring the Pain was now. I think by what I heard, was his last ditch effort, almost thing to be like, this is what I'm going to do to try to make. His stand-up really wasn't like catching for him. I don't think. And he had that one, and that thing hit so hard, but yeah, it became like a caricature of
a little bit,
thing he was doing almost. My thought, and I watch it now, and I still, he's so good. I mean, obviously, world-class, talented, amazing comic, but damn, dude, I really, everything I thought about that, obviously the Will Smith slapping him thing was just like, I think Howard Stern said it too, but like, there's something, you could lose a fight maybe on stage or something if you're in a situation. Again, I mean, you both have been in like weird physical altercations.
You were there for me.
Yeah, a couple. You know what I mean? So I know these things can happen, but like, and everyone's like the way he handled it. For the sake of his career, I feel like he should have made some aggressive move. Whether it was, I mean, then go in like say raunchy, horrible things about his wife. Say something horrible more about him. When they come back from giving the nominees thing, like you have time to think, and only because. The problem I think I'll have with Chris Rock forever now on is like, you do comedy, even if you're self-deprecating.
Right.
And, you know, Kevin Hart, I can't fight. I'm not a tough guy. I don't do that stuff. Even it's something, it's all done. The control of the room is still like a quote-unquote badass thing.
Sure.
Like you control this room with everything you're saying, like you're telling whether they laugh and, you know, you take them on this thing. And it's a control deal. Seeing him have that loss of control, someone going, I actually don't like what you said, and I'm slapping you in the face. He goes, right. And then you're just going to sit there and deal with it.
Well, you know,
and there was no comedic even like response. And even Tony went on the thing, and he's like, "I'll whoop your ass, Will Smith," and it's like that looks worse also somehow. You know what I mean? Like it was just, and again, I know it's all split second having to figure out how to handle it.
And they might have said something.
I feel like to me, it hurt his stage presence,
credibility
to me.
In that moment.
Just the presence. I don't think Chris Rock's a tough guy. It was just a matter of like, I thought at very least like there should be people pulling you backstage while you're going like, "Yo, Will Smith, you are a fucking pussy." You know,
I
like
watched
whatever
that thing. I watched it in slow mo, like on the Scrub. I was watching it, and then there was somebody like took it from a different angle or whatever, and I watch it, and you can see him. He go and then you could see him bite his lip. And I know that's where it was. I know he had his arsenal of weapons in that moment, but I think he's also taking in the optics of the biggest stage in entertainment and saying, okay, another time, another place, I'll get to you. I think that's what I think he's putting the night above himself, and he bit his lip. And to me, like...
I don't know if it was in the grand scheme of the world, like maybe it was the best decision. I'm just saying, like, I'm saying just to me, that
you want
the emotion, like, when I watch him, I go, it's like... You're not do you know what I mean? Like, there's people who are tiny who I don't think are badasses in life, like ass kicking. You're just like, damn, dude, what a fucking bad. Ron Bennington to me is like a badass dude. You know what I mean? He's like a chubby older guy at this point. You know what I mean? But like, just something about him gives off that thing. And if you saw him just get like, you know what I mean? If you saw him like a guy was like, please don't hurt me, sir, or something, we're like, that's not how you would handle that.
Yeah.
We would just be kind of cool through it, even if you had a horrible thing happen to you.
Yeah. Especially
You know
like Ron, he'd get speaking curb stomped calling him a fucking pussy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would have been nice for him to get a jab in.
Something.
Just something. But I agree with you to that regard. But I also, like, I don't know, when I watched, somebody did something where they showed him, after that happened, they were presenting for the next award, and there was a camera angle that was isolated on Chris Rock. And you just see him sitting there, and he's replaying the whole thing. He's stuck on stage. He can't go anywhere, right? He's literally stuck there. And somebody isolated it, and they put it on Twitter, and I was watching it. And I don't know, for me, when I was watching it, I was like, that's every kid in 7th grade right there that just got shit on at the fucking lunch table or whatever. And I felt, I felt bad.
He goes, what's that, Will Smith? I was like, bam. And I go, oh, judo flip. He goes, oh, I'm so scared of you, Will Smith. I was like, oh, flip a karate chop.
He also, Chris, got bitch slapped by the biggest actor in Hollywood on the biggest night of Hollywood. Like, there's got to be... There
Smith's
could
not
be
a small guy, either. The guy's, what is he, 6'2" or something
6'3",
like that?
He's
He played Muhammad Ali.
Yeah, and even that, listen, even when he goes, I thought it was like almost coming. He was like, Will Smith just slapped the shit out of me. And you feel it almost like, Will Smith just slapped the shit out of me. And just like, are you out of your fucking... And just like something. I don't know. He
left
froze.
it too open to interpretation of whether it was planned or not. Because there was a while there was like...
Yeah, no, that was a setup.
If this wasn't a setup, why didn't Chris Rock go after him a little bit, you know?
But Jada Pinkett, I've been exploring the Jada Pinkett collection of films again recently. Jason's Lyric was on, goody. And then I realized that my girlfriend, being a little bit younger than me, did not watch all of the 90s black films you have to watch. So she also never saw...
Love and Basketball?
No, Menace to Society,
yeah,
which was the other Jada Pinkett one in it.
Okay.
And I go, you know what's funny? I always thought she was hot. So I never overthought her acting, and like, you know, and also those young movies, she showed titties and ass, fantastic.
Yeah. Booty Call,
fantastic,
great fucking movie.
But man, in those movies, she doesn't have one. She sucks as an act. Her acting is her personality. It's like she's doing red table talk with everybody in Menace Society. There's not one conversation where she's like, "Hey, how you doing?" Everything's like, "You gonna die in these streets if you don't get your education, and I'm not gonna watch you die like your friend going to jail." And everything's like, God damn! And that's what I feel like his life must be like all the time. She's that intense.
Yeah.
I mean, when she was telling him that she fucked their son's friend, and she was almost made it seem like it was like his fault. She's like, look, things happen. You work, I have a pussy. And then her mom's there just going like, child, yeah.
She be fucking.
Yeah.
Thanks, Mom.
She stay fucking.
Oh,
she stay
God.
fucking.
Yeah, why would you, if you're Will Smith, like,
he's from Philly. He's got his son Nancying around in a fucking skirt. His daughter's bald like his whole fucking girl. Every girl in his house is a bald lady. Every woman else is a bald lady, and his son wears skirts. That wasn't what he was picturing when he was living in West Philly, dude. That wasn't what he thought.
That wasn't the master.
But Jazzy Jeff's by himself at the Eagles game, if you noticed. I don't hang out with that cornball no more.
That red talk, though, with Will Smith, if you have any shred of dignity for yourself, you go, we're not releasing this. There's no way we can let this be. This is a private conversation that should never be publicized.
Those women do Wiccan voodoo or something.
Fucking
I'm telling you.
crazy.
Did you see the funnier one? Almost that's more like, Jesus Christ, Will Smith, say something. The funnier one is Snoop Dogg came on to answer. They were going to talk to him about still using the word bitch a lot in his rap. And Snoop Dogg goes on. You can watch this online. Red Table's like, he's got a turtleneck on with like a cross chain over it.
Yeah.
Hands on their table.
I'm here to listen.
I mean, no bull. And she's talking about this. And, you know, here's the problem, Snoop. You know, the music's so good, but it's just, you know, she goes, I used to tell Pac that all the time. And he takes over. He goes, I know. He goes, because she was like, Pac would write such a great, like a Dear Mama, or, you know, Brenda's got to be these like thoughtful songs. And then he takes over. He goes, yeah, next song, I know, right? And she's like, next song, the bitches, and the bitches ain't shit. And he's like, I know, he didn't have to do that either. He was so talented. You're like, Snoop Dogg. He just like, can I go home now? He's like saying everything he has to say to get out of there. It's like, so bitch is wrong to say. He goes, I agree, it is wrong. Can I leave? This sucks. Why does your 15-year-old daughter think she's better than me? Why is she looking at me with a bald head? And why does she have a third eye drawn between her other two eyes?
Close the door behind him on the way out. These bitches.
Oh, God. All right. Well, our last video, obviously, it's one of us. It's either Mike, Big Jay, or Steve Byrne. Let's see. Again, I never know, and you're queuing it up. And
I'm not racist because I was raised around a lot of culture. I was. I'm from Philadelphia. It's a city like anything else, Philadelphia. A lot of culture. My high school, we had black people and white person, and that was pretty cool because I was the white person for most of that. I used to get my ass beat, and I couldn't fight for shit. I was raised by all women, my grandma and my mom, so I couldn't fight for shit. I could argue like a motherfucker. They taught me all that shit. I get all that, this shit, bitch, fucking I take my purse off, I hit him with that shit.
You got
I try to teach myself
Keep
how to fight when I was
Keep in
younger.
mind,
I
I say the word shit.
I had a plan. I
every
was going to watch
sentence.
movies, learn how to fight by watching movies, because I was getting fucked with at school a lot, right? So I'm fucking go home and go, Grandma, what movies do we have? I need something with some gangs and violent shit and some fights. Shit. What do we got? Shit. She goes, oh, gangs, we have Grease and West Side Story. So I watched them a lot, and I went to school real cocky. Starting shit with these Broadway skills. I'm slapping people and pushing them and shit. And one kid's like, yo, Jay, enough of that shit, parking lot, 3:30. I was like, pfft, I'll be there, right? Yeah. Yeah, 3:30 it is. What? Huh, see you then. They don't like that shit. When you get a little flary at the end, they don't like it.
That's great.
So good.
Where is this comic for you?
No, that's P. Diddy's Bad Boys of Comedy.
That's why you had to wear the Sean John, huh?
Not only that, so
They probably had all racks and everything for you guys to choose.
Everything happened with this. One, we all, apparently everybody did the show, signed a contract that said P. Diddy gets like a managerial cut of your career if things pop in the next 5 years. And we all signed it in the back. We're just like, man, your head looks like a big old potato motherfucker. Yeah, give me that. You go, and then fuck you and your mama. No one knew.
No one knew, huh?
No, and it was like one person had to like call to the carpet at one point, like afterwards, because like P. Diddy came and he was like, it's probably because you did P. Diddy's Bad Boys of Comedy. You got this movie role or whatever.
No.
And so someone had to be like, yo, fuck that. And
wow.
Did they ever enforce it in any capacity?
I think it ended up not getting enforced, but it was like a thing everyone just kind of blindly signed. But more than that, they said, you know, that they want you to wear like Sean John, stuff like that. They have a bunch of stuff. And they go, what's your size? What do you say? So I gave them my wrong size, small, too small, because I was like, it's ridiculous that we all have to. What if it's not our style at all?
Sure.
Sean John, like particularly a short sleeve, zip up, blue and white, short, horrible.
Yeah, unless Sean John goes to Hot Topic, you're kind of out of luck.
Yeah,
right?
I'm out.
I mean,
I'm out. Well, it's funny. I did dress very wiggery growing up more.
Yeah.
In like my late teens, but it was because that was the fat clothes you can get were either hip hop clothes or
Echo or Big Dogs, or
stuff like, or they would get like Harbor Bays, like dad collection, and it was always like like nice polo shirts or whatever, and I didn't want to dress like that.
Frank Thomas's leftovers.
Yeah. I like all those guys make fat clothes. In other words, Mo Vaughn's big ass pants.
I had a lot of Roundtree and Yorks when I was growing up.
Oh, husky section, all that shit. But so I gave the wrong size because I was like, and then I'll just wear like a button-down shirt with sleeves rolled up. It's not even that B, but more me than in my jeans or whatever, and it'll be fine. So I have my jeans on. I go there, and they're like, no, you have to. And this man, I wish I could remember her name. This lady should have got an Employee of the Month because there was a room that was just the clothes stuff. Not well organized at all. And I mean, this lady, when I was like, she goes, what size? I think at that time I'm like 3X or something like that I needed. And I was like, yeah, no, I think they put my size down wrong. I'm a 3X. And she goes, no, really? She goes, I don't know how much we have in that. I don't know if we have anything in that. And I was like, it's cool. I'll wear just my button-down shirt. Yeah. It's fine. And she goes, yeah, they really want you to wear the stuff, though. I go, yeah, but they said, like, if there's nothing, like, we can.
Yeah, they said want, not have to.
This lady was, I mean, up in a rafters, and then she pulls out that hunk of shit. I remember when I got rid of it at one point, just throwing it away like in a Goodwill thing or so. I remember my ex-wife was like, "Don't you?" But it's like from the thing. I go, "No. What am I gonna do? Frame it like Biggie's Big Papa jersey?" It's like I didn't want to wear it then.
This is the first time I was on TV wearing clothes I didn't want. There's that clothes.
The Skankfest Museum 20 years later. That's when it's all displayed out and everything. Yeah. Well, that's great, man. And so Skankfest coming up in September. Bonfire. Anything else you're working on?
Yeah,
or?
The special. I have my new special is
nice.
going to be coming out in the beginning of April. So yeah, I'm excited for that. We filmed it at Skankfest.
So you already feel? Oh, great, great. How do you feel about it?
Good. It's the most. We recorded them in the afternoon.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Because
why'd you choose to do that?
It was choice / kind of necessity. If we're going to do the festival, the way the festival runs, and when you produce and film stuff, like they need the day of setting it up.
Yeah.
And we couldn't take away one of the rooms of the festival for the day, so they had to set up late night, early morning. And then we filmed at like 1 and 4. It's fine. It's Skankfest crowd, it's audio. It's almost more like
it's you're built in.
So it wasn't a problem with that, but you just feel the energy of like daytime a little bit more, like in myself. So it was I've never usually anything I've filmed, I'm like, use the first one or use the second one, but this is the first one I really had to do a little more like...
You ping pong back and forth. So they were both great.
Yeah, never like within bit, but I mean just like, the first 2 were better on that one, the last 3 are
wow, okay.
So it's like, but I'm happy with it. Yeah, no, I'm really excited. I'm excited for people to see. I was sitting on this one forever because of quarantine and everything. So.
And what venue did you film it in?
Notoriety was at where Skankfest was at Notoriety. It was in one of the rooms there we had.
Okay, wow, that's
there was still like, my special was happening. Jason Ellis was having Ellis Mania fist fights outside in a ring. It was like, it's wild.
It was Skankfest.
It was Skankfest, yeah. There's fights every year. That's the coolest thing I've ever seen is Ellis Mania. You know what Ellis Mania is?
I've heard of it. Yeah.
So he comes and we set up a boxing ring out in the thing, and there's, fans, comics, just sign up to do these like weird events where like it's throwing down, man. The coolest thing to watch is girls doing it because some of them are like bruisers.
Yeah.
But I was so impressed. It was almost like a Fight Club feeling watching somebody have that. This girl was so, I'll never remember her name for some reason, but I see her every Skankfest now. This was in Houston. She was just like very pretty girl with like a big, tall, like strapping boyfriend who was a fan clearly and stuff, and like and she was just like a half top sweater, hot chick, but very sweet, very prissy, prim and proper seeming, and she was like, "Yeah, I'm going to go into the musical chairs contest, which is, I guess they have starts with 10 people, like 10 girls from the audience, all wearing boxing gloves, and there's 8 seats, and they play musical chairs. The 2 people standing, fight for a minute. Whoever wins stays, and then it whittles down to 2 people. That girl made it to the finals.
Yeah.
Of that girl said she's never thrown a punch in her life, never been hit in the face in her life, and when I saw her the next day. She looked a little worse for the wear. She was a little scuffed, but I was like, how was that? And she goes, it was so exhilarating. She's like, I've never been hit. And I just I'm like, that's a really cool thing. Like, you really overcame. She goes, I've never been in a fight. And I just fought 4 people. And like,
I just fought strangers on stage.
And probably had a drink with them that afternoon as well.
They're hugging each other afterwards, laughing about it. Like, what the hell are we doing? And it was awesome. Yeah, I'm intrigued. Every year, I'm like, because Lewis always does something with it. He's always like, come on, dude, you got to get in there and do it. In my mind, like you said, we were saying about the going home and doing it. All year, when I'm on the road alone, so I think I go, I'd probably come out and just like, get a little, I'm just gonna work. They don't even expect me to work the body. I'm gonna break their ribs.
Judo chop.
I'm gonna come with the thing. And that's what I'm flat in their face. And then they go, Jay, do you want to sign up for it? I go, I'm like 45, man. I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna connect with a punch and then have to get Tommy John surgery on my elbow or something.
Hey, I'll go. Me and you will fight because we're the same size. Yeah. But I got fuck knees. My shoulders suck. I can't feel my back half the time. We'll just both be kind of just hugging, sort of.
We've got like giant jackass hands and just like do a weird oversized hand slap fight.
All right, well, Big J, thank you again so much for coming down today to the Pinata. I really appreciate it, man. You're one of my favorites, and I'm so happy for you and the crew and with Skankfest. And one of my favorite stories was Sal when he sang the Frankie Valli song.
Skankfest.
That's one of my favorite stories. It's so great, but again, it's a testament to the vibe that you guys have at the. I know Sal's told that story a bunch of times.
These people were right in the middle of headbanging to System of a Down music. Sal came out and sang "I Love You, Baby."
Yeah, I love you, baby.
And the whole crowd. Men with men, everyone slow danced.
Yeah.
And then at the chorus, everybody joined in and sang a song right after a mosh pit was going to the
That's
song
great.
before. That
Well, that's a testament to Sal and to the Four Seasons.
Well,
I
Sal
feel
was
like
literally saying, "I don't think I should do this," and you were like, "I don't think you should do it."
I was saying,
calling him out.
I go, if you want to bail, but Josh didn't know, and he goes, "Coming up, Sal Volcano." And then Sal goes, "Oh shit." It's about to happen.
That's such a great job. All right, I got to do this real quick, Jay. This is our sponsor. Got to say this. Thank you to 1877. 1877 Bad Repo. Did you know car repossession is on the rise? Did you know you also have every right to stop a repo guy from taking your car? Consumers have broad rights to stop a car repossession from happening, and that is where the law firm at Sue the Collector can help you. If your car is about to be repossessed or your car was repossessed and you verbally told them to stop, leave your car alone, or physically hurt or injured by the repo agent, or they took the wrong car altogether, you may have a case. The attorneys at Sue the Collector specialize in wrongful car repossession and can help you or your loved one. If you or your loved one were injured, lost valuables, wrongfully had your car repossessed, call us now, 1-877-BAD-REPO, 1-877-BAD-REPO. Again, that is 1-877-BAD-REPO. September, make your way out to, it's going to be in Vegas again, I assume?
Yep.
It's going to be in Vegas, downtown, Fremont. That's where the real people go to party, man.
Oh yeah.
That's where they go to party. So go down to Skankfest and
I'll be checking out 1877 Bad Repo.
1877 Bad. You said you need it. Yeah.
Well, no, I'm such a fan now of this. What a great specialty law firm.
Yeah.
Hey, someone took your car. I'll build a business helping you out.
That's it, yeah.
It's like a timeshare lawyer.
That's a new thing. The timeshare.
Get out of timeshares.
Commercial on Sirius runs for
get out of repo.
A guy that gets your family out of timeshares.
We're going to talk about Camp Lejeune next week.
Yeah.
So, okay, guys. All right, thank you very much. Rate, review, subscribe, all that good stuff.
At Comedy Pinata on Instagram. It's got all the links.
There we go.
For that.
Thank you, guys.